punk revolution now. Hey everybody, today we're going to be reviewing Pinegrove's newest album, Marigold. For those of you unfamiliar with Pinegrove, they are an indie rock band that I'd say is most notable for their blending together of country influence with a little bit of emo influence too. So, I mean, I'd say primarily this is a band that's influenced by country. You can hear that in their arrangements, incorporating lap steel guitar and banjo, and just the songwriting, you can definitely hear the country influence. But if you listen closely, you can hear in the guitar work, for instance, a little bit of, definitely some Midwest emo influence in the guitar riffs they use. The vocals also have emo influences. And then, like, take their album Cardinal, for instance, which if you listen to the production, it's very raw and indie, which also contribute to the indie, the emo vibes of their music. So pretty interesting, and they're a very talented band for sure. Very pretty music, pretty accessible as well. But you know what? Fuck talking about their fucking previous stuff. We're here to fucking review their newest album, Marigold. So let's start by taking a look at the album cover. This is an absolutely hideous album cover. It's boring, it hurts my eyes, and I frankly would not listen to this album if I didn't already know who Pinegrove was. So, horrendous album cover, but fortunately the music is not horrendous. It's actually very pretty. It's very pretty sounding, which is classic Pinegrove. Pinegrove loves to indulge in making their music as pretty as possible, with the swaying lap steel guitar and the gentle, beautiful, emotional vocals, and just the country. It's country. Country, as you probably already know, can get very pretty, and Pinegrove likes to make their country real pretty. So it's pretty music. And to take that prettiness a step further, this album is actually even more cleanly produced than their previous albums. Like I said, in their album Cardinal, it has this sort of raw production that kind of helps contribute to its emo vibes. Well, Marigold, I actually think it's a flaw in Marigold, because you take away that raw production and replace it with cleaner production, it's kind of taking away some of the character that makes Pinegrove likable in the first place. To the point where, frankly, this starts to sound a little bit less like, oh, this is an interesting indie rock band blending together in country and emo, and it starts to sound a little bit more like, this is almost fucking country pop with just a teeny dash of emo in there, but barely even any emo at all. I barely hear the emo in this album, frankly. I mean, it's gotten to the point where, like, you could fucking replace the lead singer with Taylor Swift or Miley Cyrus from their country eras, and it frankly wouldn't sound that out of place. That's how clean and generic and boring the songwriting is on this album. The songwriting is taking a major hit compared to their previous albums. The fucking melodies in some of these choruses are just like, did they really think that was an interesting melody to use? Like, what was that? And, the issue, there's a lot of issues with this album. The songwriting is boring, the production is boring, but I think the biggest issue of all with this album, this band does not take a single fucking risk throughout this entire album. They are playing it so safe. They just are churning out the most generic sounding Pinegrove music. And that really is, it hurts to see, because them taking interesting choices with their music in earlier albums is what made them interesting. And if you take it away, there's nothing left besides mediocrity. Is that a word? It's fucking mediocre. It's sad, and it hurts, because you know this band has potential. So, just a little bit of analysis to just why is this album so bad. My speculation, and I think I'm right about this, for those of you unfamiliar with Pinegrove, in 2017, they took a hiatus due to allegations of sexual coercion against their lead singer. This is the first album they've recorded since after the hiatus. They did release Skylight after the hiatus, but they recorded Skylight before the hiatus, so Marigold is actually the first album they recorded after the hiatus. And my guess is the hiatus and the sexual coercion scandal, to be specific, was so fucking miserable and exhausting for them, they probably lost all inspiration to make Pinegrove anything actually artistically meaningful, and that just resulted in them churning out some just lazy ass songs that are gonna make them more money. They get to release through a major or a big label and just fucking make their money, but there's really nothing fucking artistically meaningful in this album. Boring as fuck. 4.8 9 out of 10. 4.9 out of 10, okay? And I think that's what it really deserves. Boring. I don't see Pinegrove ever releasing anything interesting ever again after this very mediocre, uninspired release. Thanks for watching Punk Revolution now.